Thanks, Anne. Welcome everyone. I'd also like to echo the recognition and acknowledgement of the traditional owners and custodians of this land. I think in particular it's very appropriate that we do this acknowledgement on a day when we are focused very much on improving the environment. And the environment of this continent, of course, has been transformed by the European industrialisation that was brought to this land and which changed very utterly the continent. And so the acknowledgement of country, I think, is an important element today. We're going to change the format slightly because at the last minute we've had a very important and very remarkable addition to the program. I'm going to introduce you to a man who has a very special vehicle, and he will explain to you what's so special about it. So, Austin Adams is here. Here he is. Thanks, Austin.
Thank you, Brian. I'm the proud owner of that white car that you see outside, that piece of modern technology that really owns me and has owned me since last November or so, when it's been our only vehicle and has been performing magnificently. It's an electric vehicle which has the capability of providing power out as well as in. So the long cable that you see from the car leading into here is actually powering this amplifier, that projector and the video camera over there with absolutely no problem at all. Now, you might remember that a certain notorious person from the previous federal administration made some point about electric vehicles ruining their weekend. Was there something about that, I think, that came through? Well, I can tell you it would make your weekend if you were going away camping, because you could take that vehicle camping and you could plug in your tent light, your coffee making machine and everything else that would run for a day without any problems at all from the car's own battery. So consider an electric vehicle to be something that makes your weekend rather than ruining it. Now, you've all perhaps done some homework on electric vehicles and have looked up YouTube and found all kinds of articles, videos in YouTube about cars, particularly my vehicle, which is a Hyundai Ioniq 5. There are lots, probably hundreds of videos there. They all tell you all about the good things, but I tell you what, there are a couple of good things that they don't ever mention, and I thought I'd tell you about them briefly today. The first one is something about the contrast between an electric vehicle and an old internal combustion engine vehicle. Now, those of you who are oldies like me probably have the experience of getting in your car in the morning, turning on the ignition, starting the engine and driving up to the local supermarket, Coles or Woolies, to get some milk or something. It's just a bit too far to walk, so you drive and you park and then you come home and you look at the temperature gauge and you realise, gosh, the car's only just warmed up and it's only just driving like a good car, and you feel bad about running the engine for such a short time. Well, with an electric vehicle, it's full on, right from go on the coldest of mornings. You've got full power instantly. That never seems to be mentioned in any of the plus points online, I've noticed. There's another thing that I really do have to mention, and that is that even though it's an electric vehicle, it has a few ordinary things, like it's got tyres and wheels, and you need to check the tyre pressure every now and then. And you need to pump up the tyres. Now, where do you go to pump up the tyres? You've got to go to a petrol station. And if you're like me, you feel embarrassed to go to the petrol station because you don't go there otherwise. You've got to slip in to pump up the tyres. Well, I tell you what, this is my bicycle pump, and it works just fine. About 20 pumps per wheel brings the pressure up 2 pounds per square inch on each wheel, and it's no problem at all, and I can do it in my own leisure at home without feeling embarrassed at the petrol station. So there you go, there's 2 points that they never mentioned on the blurb. There we go. I don't think there's anything else to say except that I'll be around outside on the half hour if anybody wants to ask questions about the charging and how the whole thing works. No problem. Thanks, Brian.